Employees, as a consumer of total rewards, is really all about the value proposition that happens between the employer and the employee. Just as an organization strives to create value for their customers, an organization also creates value for the employee and looking at them as a consumer, kind of like a brand. In order to create the brand for the employee is really starting out with several things, and you're going to look at segmenting your employee population. And this is actually something that may take a little bit of time. So you want to take a look at what's important to you as an employer in terms of where you're trying to get your employees to behave in a certain way, where you're wanting to create the biggest value and the biggest engagement. So that's how you're going to want to think about segmenting your employee base. This may be in terms of classification. It could be in terms of demographics or where you are located locally, if you are a global organization, things like that. So you're going to want to segment those employees into those populations in order to be able to look at what's important to them when they work for your organization, or what that consumer looks like for those employee segmentations. Segmentation really works well for organizations that have crucial jobs that they're looking to fill or looking to retain. So this is another important aspect in terms of employee segmentation that organizations may want to take a look at. Once you've decided how you're going to actually segment your population, the next thing that you're going to want to do is really look at what the preferences for those segmentations are. Now, some organizations actually go out and use what we call a conjoint analysis. Conjoint analysis is really a statistical technique that is used in market research to figure out where preferences are for consumers. And organizations can actually use this type of technique when they're looking at their employee segmentation as well. They can determine what the preferences are by these employee groups in terms of their total rewards offerings. So looking at what's important in terms of compensation, employee benefits, work-life needs, and career development. Some organizations may not actually want to go down the route of a conjoint analysis, which is fine. They can simply do an employee survey on the total rewards offerings and get a feel for what is important to each one of those segments. The thing that they're really looking for is to look at what those preferences are by segmentation and then determine what the cost of offering those preferences would be. What you're really trying to get at the end of the day is finding out what those trade-offs will cost and what will actually drive behavior and engagement. So it's kind of a balancing act. An example of a trade-off approach would be looking at what your survey is telling you or what the conjoint analysis is telling you in terms of employees that may have said they're interested in increasing a 401k match, but they're also interested in flexibility. And equally within that survey, they have equal values. When you look at what the cost factor is, then you see that the 401k increase in the match is going to be more expensive. But adding flexibility to someone's schedule really probably is going to cost very minimal. Then you would take a look at how you feel either one of those two is going to help increase engagement. The next step is to create a cohesive communication plan for your total rewards offerings. You may want to involve your marketing department as they have created brands for the customers of your organization. This is a way to create a brand that's cohesive across the entire organization. By having this cohesive brand, you're really communicating what the employee value proposition is to your employees and to your potential candidates. The goal is to achieve a better understanding by the consumer, which is the employee, and better utilization of the product, which is the total rewards mix.